All right, all right, all right. This is the gentle exercise class. All right, grab a sip of water. And the way we work here is I'm going to put everybody on mute so we have a nice quiet room. Let's see. If you are new to us, let me see you wave your hand so I know if we have some new folks. Yes, I thought so. Hey, Janet. Hello. Welcome. So this is our gentle class. Let me put us on mute here. Here's the deal. You guys have the power of unmute. You can take yourselves off mute whenever you like. But this way we have a nice quiet room to work out on. If you have questions, just go ahead and unmute yourself. We're going to be using in these classes. Hey, Diane. Nice to see you. Oh, yeah. So I finally brought a table in here. We're going to be using a towel, 2 hand weights, exercise tubing, and a ball. In fact, let's start with the ball. Go ahead and take your ball. We'll start by just, get this out of the way. I'm going to wet my elbow on it. Toss it back and forth, kind of wake the hands up, roll between your hands. Let's see, let me tilt this camera down. I'm in the chair the whole time, so no need to. Okay, all right. So I talk a lot about the very useful, seemingly obvious, simple activity of tossing a ball. A lot of really valuable stuff going on when we're doing this. Now, if you don't have a ball, I suppose you could use a rolled up pair of socks. If you don't have hand weights, you can use a couple of cans of soup. You got to be kind of creative in the world today, right? So go ahead and run the ball between your hands here, waking those fingers up. And we're going to work on, let's see, somebody, let me just come up here and mute somebody here. I can hear some stuff ticking around here. All right, there we go. All right, so this is the gentle class. I'm currently offering 7 classes online, all through Zoom. Sometimes I'll be broadcasting live on YouTube, but not always. We have an energetic class that is standing, and we start in the chair and then we go to standing. That's pretty intense. That gets up to about 8.5 on a scale of 1 to 10. Stretch your arms up, moving the ball around back and forth. So that one is very athletic, very challenging. You're welcome to try that and just do what you can. We have this class, which is a little slower pace. We get up to about a 6 on a scale of 1 to 10. And I kind of like the pacing of this class almost better because it allows us to talk about some real important subtleties of movement. And it's nice because it follows the energetic class. So I'm able to kind of cool down and do some good stuff here that I might not normally have the energy for. Stretch it up and pull it back down and press forward and pull it back in. Yeah, so just simply tossing a ball back and forth. Keep the ball somewhere where you'll see it between classes and just spend some time tossing it, catching it, improvising with it. Don't plan it. Just see all these different ways that we toss it up and snatch it, throw it up overhead. We're doing hand-eye coordination. We're doing tactile coordination. I don't even know what you call that, sense of touch, right? We're doing eye tracking. We're doing muscle force regulation. And we're gaining control of a moving object. So fine motor for sure is going to be addressed in this seemingly simple activity. So we talk a lot about, well, actually, let's go first of all into a little bit of rise and shine here. Take the ball in your right hand, bring it across your body, put it opposite the left hip pocket, and let's reach up on a big circle overhead, stretching up overhead, making that arc as large as possible. Over to the right pocket, then reach across with the left hand and turn and stretch and up. You want to be turning your head and following the ball with your eye. I call this one rise and shine. And stretch and turn. All right, so we talk about many things in this class. We talk about developing a set of strategies that we identify and name and practice throughout the day that over time has a cumulative effect on our well-being and health and function, like practicing proper posture, I'm going to bring back posture week next week, I think. Stretch up. We talk about how to get out of a chair, how to get down into a chair. And we talk about walking, right? Walking, rolling over in bed, getting into a chair, going upstairs. These things can become difficult. So we want to break them down, study them, learn the best way to do them, and practice them. And then throughout the day, for instance, walking, we want to not walk mindlessly. We want to walk with mindful movement. We want to practice enhancing the swing of the arms. We want to practice lifting the toes as we stride forward. One more here, all the way up and across and down. And many of the movements in this class might seem curiously difficult because when there's a decision to be made about how to do something, I typically take the way that contrary to what the default brain response might be. Walking is a perfect example of that. Now, the brain would like to coordinate one side at a time. It doesn't want to co-coordinate upper body and lower body opposite sides, right? So we're going to practice that in this little warm-up drill here. So go ahead and get yourselves to the edge of the chair here. Go ahead and wrap your clavicle and tilt that up a little bit towards the sky. Big breath in. So we're going to go into this, but I want to talk about that breath I just did. I'm calling that breath. And you'll see athletes do it, like a batter gets up to the plate, kind of does that to relax himself, or a golfer, or really pretty much anyone that is an athlete will have some sort of breathing routine to relax them, because in most sports you want to be really relaxed. And it's a really good way for us to kind of recenter and relax as well. And what I want you to do is take a big breath in through your nose so you can't take much more air in. And then just let it out all at once. Feel the cavity just collapse. It's probably, I guess that is the right word for it, but just relaxing. The exhalation phase of breathing is not the phase you work on if you're trying to work on breath. It's the inhalation phase. But letting that air go, that's kind of the event of that sequence that will help you recenter and relax. So let's do it one more time. And just feel how when that air comes out, you kind of settle in a little bit. All right, so that's the calming breath, and we'll be doing that throughout the class here. What we're going to do is we're going to do a little movement drill here that is going to duplicate the way the body moves when we walk. It's going to help us co-coordinate upper body and lower body. I see some of you already doing it. So with the ball in the right hand, you're going to make a throwing motion forward, and then switch it to the left hand, throwing motion forward. As you make that throwing motion, you're going to lift the opposite leg just a little bit. Kick it up there. And turn the body as well. So now we're moving both sides, right? But I want you really to kind of think about the fact that your brain is initiating movement, primary movement, on the opposing sides of the upper and lower body. So this little drill here has three different routines. Well, three different exercises, we'll call them. This is the first one. Throwing forward and lifting that reciprocal leg. The second move is, again, a reciprocal pattern, but we're going to take it and reach it out to the side as we reach out with the opposite leg. And we're not moving real fast here, right? So you got the mental bandwidth to focus on something else, which is getting a nice big stretch, getting those reaching out with the arm so the arm is straight, and reaching out with the leg so the leg is straight. And we're not crossing the body. I see Diane, I think you're crossing the body there. You're going to reach, put the ball in the right hand, reach just out to the side as the leg goes out this. There you go. There we go. Good. And again, we're on a constant pursuit of understanding and being able to perceive or sense our body three-dimensionally. So I want you to take this opportunity. In addition to the movement, I want you to feel your core engage as you lean laterally out over the side here. Engage the stomach and you'll feel your engage. And now I want you to actually, as you reach out and back, feel the shirt across the skin of your back. Just observe it. We have so many little things that go on without us noticing them. For instance, I bet you're not thinking about your toes right now, are you? Look at your toes in those shoes as you go through here. So now you can feel the skin on your back, you can feel your feet in your shoes. Okay, one more on each side. And for the third move, we're actually going to break from that reciprocal pattern, and we're going to press both arms up overhead, bring your legs out, and then press both arms forward and back. And this will be our third move in this little routine here. And I like breaking from the reciprocal pattern because in doing a symmetrical pattern, or what they would call bilateral maybe movement, because, you know, arms and legs are both doing the same thing. Because once we enter this move on number 3, we're going to go back to 1, and that's going to require us to again co-coordinate upper body and lower body. So to re-coordinate that gaze pattern, breathe, don't hold your breath. And as you stretch forward, lean forward from the hip. And see if you can get your arms all the way up and straight. Beautiful. So you're kind of getting those elbows straight, not leaving them bent like this. Get them out there. Get those hands out there. One more. Up and down and forward and back. Put the ball back into the right hand. Throwing motion. Kick the opposite leg. Throwing motion. And now to the side. Out to the side. And bring it up. And down and forward. And back. And breathe. Forward throw. Forward throw. Out to the side. And up. And down. And forward. And back. Keep moving now. Let's talk a little bit as we're getting our bodies warmed up and doing a coordinated movement challenge. So why is it that I encourage us to be on a journey to be able to perceive our body three-dimensionally, or for our ability to perceive the ground zero position? Because as humans, we understand the world in front of us rather easily, right? We can see everything out here, but Parkinson's can affect structures and areas of the body that are not right here in front of us. Our posterior structures, the area between the shoulder blades. That's what I call ground zero. The spine, the positioning of your spine inside can be affected with poor posture. So we want to be able to feel these structures and these areas, identify them, and control them kinesthetically. Once we're able to do that, we will better be poised. We will be better poised to make improvements and fight back. Let's do one more. Forward, out to the side, and up, down, forward, and back. And let's get this chair march going here. And to get it coordinated properly, let's raise that right hand up and hold it there. Reach the left hand back and hold it there. Raise that left leg up, hold it there. When I say go, we're going to drop them and switch. Go. There we go. Good. And try to relax the arms a little bit. Not so much that they're not swinging generously or over-exaggerated, but we want to feel the weight of the arm as we swing forward and throw down. Think of it as a swing and a throw. And really, it's best to probably feel that or perceive that one side at a time. Breathe. And let's try to bump it up even further. And swing those arms with your core. In other words, try to fling them forward with your torso almost. Breathe. Lovely. And rest. Reset. Big breath in. And let's take it back to rise and shine. Bring the ball in your right hand across your left hip pocket and stretch. See if you don't feel a little bit more opened up from the movement we've been doing here. Back and forth, turning the head to look at the ball. Rise and shine. Nope. And one more across, all the way across, and down. Big breath in, and exhale. Okay, let's continue with a little neck movement here. Go ahead and first of all, open your mouth up. Really wide. See if you feel those muscles in your neck there kind of activating your scalenes. Open the jaw. And rest. We'll do it one more time. I want to open your eyes up real big too. And rest. Calming breath. One more time with the mouth and eyes. And rest. Let's go ahead and turn our head all the way to the right. Release that. Come back through center, keeping your chin nice and level. All the way to the left. And back to center. I probably should have started with this. Position yourself nice and tall on the edge of the chair. You're going to take your fingertips and wrap your clavicle. Create a little hot spot. And then bring your hand back to your chin there and tilt that up a little bit. Rise that up towards the sky there. And with your upper arm and shoulder, ease your hands back to you. So you're sitting nice and tall. And give me another calming breath. And now tilt your right ear down towards your shoulder. Release that. Come up through center. All the way to the other side. And back up to center and turn the head now to the right. Release that. Come back through center all the way to the left. Make sure you're not holding your breath. I just caught myself holding my breath. And back to center. And one more time, tilt your right ear to your right shoulder. And bring that up. And tilt your left ear to your left shoulder. And up to center. And one more big old calming breath. And let it go. Okay, hands up. Externally rotate to the no money to restore that upper body position. Just for a moment here. What are we going to do next? Done the ball. I'm going to say we're going to the exercise tubing. Grab your exercise tubing. Take a sip of water while we're transitioning. All right. Now I want to give you guys a shout out. I don't do that enough. Being proactive in the management of your disease through exercise is not that common. You guys are an elite group of folks. So you are to be congratulated and commended. Sit up nice and tall and straight in the chair. We're going to start with a row. It's one of my favorites. So you've got the tubing looped around the arch of the right foot, okay? Make sure it's not around the toes because it's going to snap off and hit you in the nose and you get mad at me. But with a very relaxed hand, so relaxed that if I would relax it anymore, the tubing would snap right out of my hand. Draw the elbows back behind you. Don't try to get any more distance by fussing with your wrists like doing this. Just relax the arms or the hands and try to initiate this movement from the muscles behind your shoulder. I know that's not the easiest thing to do. Again, as I say, our eyes are on the front of our head and we understand everything here. So lots of times I'll see people just going like that, using the arms. We want to use the muscles behind the arms there. The lats, pull up. And I love this because it's very low wear and tear for the shoulder. And it's really great for that shoulder structure. And it's easy on the joints. And it's also great for the muscles that help us breathe. In fact, breathing, why don't we go ahead and take a breath in and exhale as we pull the tubing towards us and inhale as it goes back. You can think of it as a bellows or the pistons of a car, but we're sequencing our breath with the movement. 3 more. 2, good. Sit up nice and tall if you've kind of gotten distracted and forgotten your posture. We'll do 1 more after this. And we're going to do this, I think I was calling this the Kung Fu. I couldn't think of a name for this. But go ahead and grab the ends of the tubing in your left hand, and then go ahead and grab your, take your right hand and grab underneath there like a baseball bat. Keeping our arms straight, we're going to sweep out to the side here and give like a karate chop kick with that right leg almost. Now, what I don't want to see is these elbows bent and you pulling up like that. I mean, there's still value in that, but the best way to do this is to really keep those arms straight and think of both your arms working like a triangular lever. And that way, it really intensifies the transitional pull through the core. It's an interesting move. It's functional, but it doesn't really mimic things that we would do in daily life very much, right? But it still has a really great value for the core and for the arms. In other words, if you were to do a sit to stand or a squat, for instance, you can tell that you do that action or that activity as you get up out of the chair. There's a direct, easily understood correlation to the exercise and the activities of daily living. Let's do 1 more here. Whoo. Oh, and back. And go ahead and get the tubing off of the foot. And let's go to the other side. Wrap it around the arch of the left foot. Straighten that. Sit up nice and tall in the chair. And again, ease your hands back to you. Breathing. And there's no hurry in this. We're just keeping the hands relaxed, and from the muscles behind the shoulder, pull the elbows right, sliding right past your rib cage. You don't want to squeeze them in like that. You just keep them relaxed. The path will find itself, but you also don't want to have chicken wings come out like that. Just keep your chest tall and open. And ease the hands back to you. So hopefully after this class, you're going to feel like you kind of went through a couple of routines that were good for the body, good for the function of the body. I talk about evolutionary movements that we used to do as when we began to walk around on 2 feet and began to build shelters and hunt. And travel all around the forest looking for stuff, or paddling up river. All these movements we've gotten away from that were actually perfect for what the body was designed for. Let's do 3 more. 1, 2, and 1 more. 3, and down. And go ahead and take the right hand, grab the ends of the tubes, and the left hand underneath it. Again, holding kind of like a baseball bat, and then sweep that leg out to the side like kind of a kung fu or karate chop, and keeping both arms straight. Lift out to the side, opposing the direction. Opposing direction, good. Breathe. Again, controlling the outward phase and the inward phase. Take that return movement slow. Breathe. Don't want to hold our breath for any of this. And you can tell the body is out of the ground zero position, right? But that's fine. We don't always 100% of the time maintain that ground zero engagement. Many of the evolutionary movements I'm talking about involve going outside of the ground zero or returning to it, right? Chops, lifts, presses, pulls, rows, all these things that were activities the body was designed to do. We get away from them. But they're restorative, they're rejuvenating, they're strengthening, they're emboldening. So when you come here and see me, you'll be doing a lot of these movements. Let's do 1 more. Breathe. and out and back. Beautiful. Go ahead and take the tube off the arch. Reestablish a nice tall position. Give me that no money stretch position. The most aptly named stretch, no money. And hold it for a second. We're actually going to go back to the tubing just for a minute here because I want to work the muscles that stabilize the shoulder, the muscles that do this, externally rotate the arms. So holding the tubing in your hands with your palms up, we're just going to bring them out to the side, slow and repeated. And again, it's not just out and then snapping it back. Slow out, slow in. Think of it as just flossing that shoulder structure. You can actually do this without tubing and just go back and forth if you don't have the tubing. It'll have value. And sit up nice and tall in the chair. Remind yourself of that feeling of wrapping your clavicle. Remember we just did that. See if you can locate that area just from memory and tilt it up. So we learn 3 different ways. We learn verbally, we learn visually, and we learn kinesthetically. And I suppose the wrapping of that clavicle is an iteration of kinesthetic or sense of feel learning. And let's go out and let's hold it there. Little bumps. Woo. And rest. Big breath in. Let it out. Okay, let's put the tubing aside. How are we doing? We're doing good on time here. All right. Why don't we do some weights? Grab a sip of water. Grab your 2 hand weights. Okay. We're going to do some arm stuff and some full body stuff. But we'll start with just getting in touch with the body in a easy strength training move. We're going to do a bicep curl. And I don't normally like to do simple stuff. I like to have a little complexity to it, a little layering to it. But this is a really simple and useful exercise for our brain-body connection. Being able to feel a certain area of the body really doing the work, the bicep. Probably one of the more simple and easier exercises to perform for this drill. In fact, someone might argue that the bicep curl is probably the simplest thing for people to perform, exercise. But in addition to building arm strength here, I want to address the brain-body connection. And what I want you to do is I want you to see if you can perceive that muscle, that bicep muscle, contracting and lifting the weight up, and then relaxing and lowering the weight down. Up and down. Just feel that muscle. Even though we're going the other direction, it stays with that muscle. It's not going to the back of the arm. The muscle is functioning in 2 different modes. Not that you need to know this, but it's concentrically here and then eccentrically. So the muscle fibers are coming together, bringing the ends of the joints to get closer together. That's why the muscle kind of gets bulged and big there when you do that. And then that same muscle is expanding and lowering. And it should be a rather easy one for you to get that brain-body connection, feeling the bicep contract and then lower. 3 more. 1 and down. 2 more. Up. And 3 more. And 3. Okay. Rest. Bring the hands up to the shoulders here. We're going to do our reach punch. So we're going to punch up and across and up and across. But I want to get some more core involved. So as I punch up and across, I'm going to kick that same side leg out to the side and then tilt. And see if you can, as you punch up, perceive a straight line from your fist all the way down to your reaching leg's foot. Also, turn with the reach, with the neutral spine. And breathe. And again, we're not moving real quick, right? Make sure your weights aren't too heavy. You should have no more than 3 pounds for this, I would say, unless you really feel like you can tolerate it. You know, we're going at a slow pace, so we can kind of feel the body go through this pattern. And as I like to say, we want to be moving with understanding, specificity, and intention. We understand through verbal instruction what we are being asked to do, or through visual. We're trying to execute it properly or as specifically as possible. And we're going to try to move with intention so we can perceive and feel the movement. We don't ever mindlessly move from point A to point B. We're on a constant pursuit of strengthening our brain and body connection. One more on each side. 1, 2, and back to forward and down. Let's reset. Sit up nice and tall in the chair here, and let's go ahead and go to some lower body stuff. So with the weight on the knee here, and I'm just going to kind of balance it on there so it has a little bit of weight. I'm going to lift my leg up and down here 10 times. There's 2, 3, 4, 5. Try to remain nice and tall. 6, I know it's hard because you're lifting the leg. 7, 8, tall and straight. 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Nice work, guys. 9 and 10, and down. Bring the arms down to your sides, and let's combine a couple movements here. So let's go bicep curl, shoulder press, bring the legs out, and then bring it back here and punch up and across. Up and across, stretching the leg out, and now finish it. And begin again. Curl, press, down to the shoulder level, stretch it up and across, and down. We're going to do 6 of these. That's 2, up, over across, and we're at the halfway point. Smooth and controlled, not hurried. Movement with intention. Precise movement. Breathe. Reach. I lost track. I'm going to call that 4. We'll do 2 more. Up. Reach. 5. And 1 more. Reset. Curl. Press. And down. Reach. Get that core go. We got a lot of core action here, I'll tell you that. And down. And rest. Okay, put your hand weights aside. Grab a sip of water. So important. We've got to always be hydrating. And we're going to go to the towel. I was smiling earlier because I realized I'm going to get to everything today. All right. If you're new, you want to grab a towel that is not huge, but large enough so when you grab towards the ends, you can get your hands just a little bit wider than shoulder width. And roll it up into a line here. And so, yeah, about right here is where we're going to position the towel. If you don't have a towel, you could use the exercise tubing. I kind of like the towel because the tubing, you know, you're going to be able to vary the positioning of your hands. Whereas if you have your towel here, it's going to you're kind of be in a fixed position. But don't worry about it now if you don't have a towel handy. Let's just get into the exercise. So what I'm going to have us do is we're going to go about constructing better upper body posture, which is going to help us breathe better. It's going to possibly over time lead to a reduction in back pain, but it's certainly going to create a healthier blood oxygen content because we'll be sitting and standing much more properly and breathing more full. You're going to pull the towel to the chest, pull the towel apart, and try to bend it. Just back and forth. Just kind of bend it, squeeze it and bend it. And what do you feel there? You'll feel the muscles behind the shoulder there contraction. Those are your lats actually. We want to get in a little bit deeper here. We want to get in towards the center of the back there. So we want to be able to control the muscles that guide the shoulder blades or stabilize the shoulder blades. That area I call ground zero, right between the shoulder blades. That engagement fixes so much and keeps us up into the world here. We're not going to be drawn down in here. I'll have none of that. We're all staying up here with me here. Press that towel forward and lean forward at the hip and then pull the towel back. So the action is to press or to push and to pull. I think pressing is better because pushing, I think for most pushing activities, your hands might be open, right? I don't know, whatever. Push and pull. Just telling your arms to do that will help that shoulder blade function properly. And as we're leaning forward, feel the skin, feel the shirt against the skin of your back. See if you can identify that back boundary of your body. And I want you to imagine as you're pulling this towel back, tucking your shoulder blades together and down into your back pockets. I discovered that way of describing it. It's not mine. Somebody else, I can't remember where I heard it, but I think it's really good. Tuck those shoulder blades into the back pockets. They're not going to get there, of course. They better not. But it's a good guiding visual. And again, it can help us get in touch with that ground zero position. And come on up here and stop. Good. Bend it. Just keep bending it. Feel those lats fire. Feel that posterior structure. See if you can identify it with your brain. Now let's press straight up overhead and pull straight down. And again, as you press up overhead, you might perceive your shoulder blades kind of sliding outward and winging up, and then pull them back down into that ground zero position. Tuck them back down into your pocket. Breathe. And I'm actually skimming my nose with the towel. That'll help you keep your elbows in a little bit, I think. And let's combine these. So let's go ahead and press forward, leaning forward and pull back to ground zero. And let's press upward and pull back right to ground zero. Pressing forward, breathing, pulling back to ground zero, press upward and right back down. Again, skimming your nose on that one, leaning forward from the hip. Press it forward and upward, and let's pause as we pull down and land in ground zero right there. Again, pull it apart, bend it. Now, without changing this position, just relax. Let the towel fall to the ground, to the floor there, your thighs. Lower your hands. Breathe, and just observe how beautifully open, much more broad and strong that chest now feels. We're constructing better posture. We're coming in through different routes to the same destination, that ground zero position. I do that all the time, and I'm just going to take a brief moment here to show you why that's so important for breath and breathing. If we don't pay attention to the way we breathe, we often end up doing what is called shallow breathing. And we're going to do a little example of that. So one of the activities we all do since you're here is we sit in front of our computer. So let's go ahead and sit at our computer in our mind here. Now look at your chest. It's now getting closed off a little bit, right? By the shoulders. They're kind of coming forward and rolling forward, right? Let's actually make that worse. And let's turn our thumbs in. So we're exaggerating that position for the sake of instruction. So now I want you to go ahead and take a breath into your nose and let it out. Again, just observe how it stops a little bit short. Now let's return to the no money stretch by drawing our hands and arms back, turning our palms up and externally rotating those arms to the no money stretch. Tilt that clavicle up that we talked about before. This is that ground zero engagement. Now take a breath in. It seems endless in comparison, doesn't it? So now you should be convinced that being aware of this ground zero position is only going to help. And of course, we're not going to be in it throughout the whole day. In fact, we're going to jump in our kayak right now. We're going to grab our kayak paddle, which has a paddle on, dip the blade into the water, and we're going to paddle up the beautiful turquoise. Let's go out looking for our friendly 14-foot crocodile. And so as you go through this, almost imagining the towel creating a figure 8 on its side, maybe. I don't know if you sort of perceive that. But notice how the shoulders are functioning. They're perfect. The shoulder is a perfect joint until it gets injured. But we're out of ground zero, but we're doing something that is great for the bones and the joints involved. Another activity that we've gotten away from. Because now when we need to get dinner from the family, we hop in our car and drive over to whatever grocery store we like, right? Or we pick up the phone, we have it delivered these days. So when you come see me, you're going to be working. And we're going to be running your body through patterns that are restorative, patterns that are meaningful, patterns that are meant for the body to be doing. Get back to the strength. Get back to the balance. Get back to the connection. Improve our posture. Good, good, good. And let's go ahead and go back to ground zero. We'll do another little drill here. So the other one where we were going back to ground zero was forward and upward. This time, let's go ahead and press up on an angle, kicking that leg out again to allow for a healthier lean. And as important as the leg extension, the arm extension, and the lean are, equally important, maybe even more so, is the fact that you're landing directly, exactly at that ground zero position as you're transferring over. So now, like I say, we go to the same destination through many different routes. And this is an example of that. It helps with muscle memory. It helps with training, strengthening. Speaking of training, let's train our core here. Let's extend out and hold. Hold. Tighten the stomach. I love this one. You can feel that core working, boy. Woo! Pull it back. Out to the side and stretch. And hold. And back. Full body work. Yeah, you're in the chair. Everything is working on this one. Breathe. And pull it on back. Out here one time. We're going to do 2 more. And just, I'm going to stick around afterwards to say thank you and answer any questions you might have, or hang out just for a little bit and say hello. And hold. You know, I told you guys before, let's pull it back here. And let's just go through this sequence again. So again, different paths. So forward and backwards, upwards and pull it down, out to the side and back, and to the side and back. And again, you guys are to be commended. And I don't say it enough. I'm going to try to say it more. Up, down, but coming here, trying to find some tricks, find something that helps, that makes a difference. Being proactive and doing the work it takes to get as good as you can. You're a rare crew. And you know, there's other things that are helpful when you come to an exercise class beyond just the physical benefits, right? This is great for your empowerment, your feeling of empowerment, your sense of achievement. And we'll do one more. So there's an emotional component to it here that nobody really thinks about, or some people do, I suppose. But some may argue, in fact, some may argue rather successfully, one more time, that the most important thing that is happening here is the emotional component to it. Doing it for yourself, doing it for your family. And let's pause and hold here one last time. Pull it, bend it. Move yourself around on the chair a little bit so you can perceive your body. Go ahead and relax, drop the towel, lower your hands. And before you glance down, tilt that clavicle, if you can, up a little bit. See if you can't now more effectively perceive the control of those shoulder blades, pulling them together and down. Big breath in and feel how this area here and here feels like it's been worked and it's stretched and it's more open. Big breath in. And let's just, for demonstration purposes, remind ourselves as we sit at the computer and we make it a little bit exaggerated and worse with the thumbs pointed down, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Not much there, huh? Pull back to that and open up. Restore that ground zero alignment. Big breath in and exhale. Awesome. Good job, guys. Okay, grab a sip of water. Hey ho, we did the whole thing. We've hit every piece of equipment. I love it. All right, we've got a little more than 10 minutes left, which is perfect. We're going to go back to the hand weights. It's perfect because we can do a little bit more strength training with the hand weights. And then we have a nice time for a cool down and a stretch. And like I said, I'll stick around a little bit afterwards to hang out if you have questions. Okay, so before we do anything, again, let's establish that tall seated position. And let's go back just to the way we sequenced things before. And let's just, again, do the bicep curl, the real simple bicep curl. And let's focus on the control of the bicep, feeling the bicep. Squeeze it up and lower it down. Taking that brain, making that connection to the movement, to the mind. You know, it's hard to really focus on something simple like this when we're doing this, like when we punch up across and lean. I mean, there's so many different things going on there that it's hard to really get that specific feeling that we're getting here. It's more of a global feeling. You got to kind of feel everything together. Good. And let's bring it down and rest. So now we're going to do the curl to the shoulder press. We're going to go right into the series. So it's curl, shoulder press, bring it back down and pause, reach out and across, out and across. And again, consistency. This one of the secrets to the art of strength training to get the most value out of what you're doing is consistency in movement, in pattern, in pacing. It's kind of a subtle way of tapping the body on the shoulder and saying, hey, this is something I'm going to be needing to do. So can you please get stronger so I can do it easier? Curl, press. And again, the pacing and the direction and the path. If we're thinking about all that stuff, we're going to be on the road to better understanding our bodies kinesthetically, being able to perceive where we are placed, to be able to control when we need to. Because we've been practicing it. We've been practicing its butt off. Again, we don't mindlessly move from point A to point B in this class. We are always moving with intention. And if I ever lapse and I forget about that, I'll go ahead and apologize in advance. I want our time together to be meaningful and full of awareness, of body awareness, of mind awareness, of control, of navigation. Navigating the body through a desired movement. And one more. Curl, press, and down, and out, and out, and down, and down, and relax. Big breath in. Okay, put the hand weights down. And let's just take a moment here to check in, to see how we feel after spending this time together so far. We're not done yet, but feel yourself on the chair. Do you have any tension? Do you feel sore? Do you feel like you've been moving? I hope so. Move yourself around on the chair and feel your skin against your shirt. Shrug it around a little bit. Again, the outside barriers of our body. The shirt's a kind of a nice cue for that. Being able to figure out where you start and stop, right? That three-dimensional awareness or ability to perceive, so important. Spread our feet out nice and wide. Sit up tall. Give yourself a karate chop in the hip, okay? That's where we're going to be moving from, the hip. Hands together, lower your fingertips down towards the ground. And from that karate chop hip area, lean down towards the floor. And then bring your arms apart and forward and sweep up. Let the arms fall to the side. I'm going to clear the table. Into the no money stretch. Hinge from the hips, come on forward and back down towards the floor. Don't worry about getting to the floor right now. I want you to understand what it means to hinge from the hip, to hip hinge. Again, hinge, hip, down. Why is that important? Because we can minimize the flexion of the spine by using these hips. All right, let's get down to the floor now. Hinge from the hip. And then you're going to flex the spine just a little bit, come down there. And then see if you can get down to the floor. Hang out here for a second. Just relax down towards the floor. You'll feel a lot of compression in that hip probably. That's okay. It's not harmful. It's just what happens when you do this. Now let's reach our arms forward, raise our arms forward into a Superman position, and then sit up. Arch back, palms up towards the sky. Now let the arms fall to the side. And then raise the palms up and sit up into that no money stretch and hold just for a moment. Walk your feet together. And we're going to do the pattern of the throwing of the leaves on your neighbor's lawn drill. But we're not going to do it vigorously. And we're not going to worry about the hand activity. We're just going to reach our hands down here and let them flow up and across. And see if you can kind of lead this pattern with the palms. So turn your arms so your palms are going forward. And see if you can perceive the air flowing almost through your fingers, across your hands for sure. And feel the air crossing your arms as you move them. Maybe it's just because I have a ceiling fan that I'm feeling that. And let's go on down to the other side. No, I know you can feel it, up and across. All these little things that are there that we don't experience unless we think about them. Like the feeling of the arms. If you have a shirt on, the feeling of the fabric against your shirt. Sometimes these things, we don't notice them until they become invasive, right? Like we don't feel the air until the air is too cold and too hard blowing against us, where it becomes uncomfortable. Let's alternate now. Breathe. Good. And rest. Big breath in. And exhale. Relax. Ease your hands back to you. Sit nice and tall. Scrunch your toes in the shoes there. Feel the sole of your foot. You get so much information from the sole of your foot. You can probably tell just by scrunching it if you're on a hardwood floor or if you're on carpet. You can feel that. Sit up nice and tall. Big breath in. And exhale. Good. Arms out across the surface of the water. Press out to the side and kick the leg out. Stretch. Lean. Reaching further each time. Breathe. I had Mike from the other class tell me he wasn't going to be able to make the boxing class on Thursday because he's got to go in for his second dose. How cool is that? It's starting to happen. One more on each side. And reach and down and up and back. Large sweep. Breathe. Up. Back. One more up and back. And we usually start with this one, but we're going to reach across the counter, open up our hands, and tell the person working there you're going to be having 5 scoops of ice cream. And we're going to switch and then tell them with the other hand 5 scoops of ice cream. And we'll reach back with the opposite hand and tell that person standing respectfully in line 6 feet behind you, you're treating yourself to 5 scoops of ice cream because you just did Patrick's gentle exercise class and you're a little hungry. Now, I don't recommend 5 scoops of ice cream every day. But don't forget to treat yourself every once in a while to something good. I had sort of a sad but important story that was told to me a couple of weeks ago at a Zoom memorial service for a friend. And one of the people there that was presenting said he knew this woman who had the love of her life, who was failing in health, and they went out to a deli and he wanted to have the corned beef sandwich, and she said, that's not going to be good for you, why don't you have the salad? That would be better. So he had the salad. Well, the next day, sadly, he passed away, and she was racked with guilt that she had asked him not to have that corned beef sandwich. So we never know when it's our time. Don't go crazy and have a whole bunch of corned beef sandwiches, or don't do 5 scoops of ice cream every day. But you take some time and treat yourself to something good. You earned it. Big breath in and exhale. And that's all I got for you today, guys. Put your hands together. You did it. Awesome. Yes. Woohoo. All right. I'm going to invite you guys to take yourselves off mute if you want to chat or whatever. For those of you who are on YouTube, again, email me and I'll put you on the list. You can come in and meet these wonderful people. What am I doing?
I have a comment.
Okay.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Who is this?
Judy.
Exercising, Mom. Thank you, sweetie. I feel my hand.
I'm Judy.
Oh,
In the orange.
in the corner.
No, they should.
Oh, yeah, I see you, Judy. Sorry, go ahead.
I saw once when you were doing your head exercises, this was excellent for small muscles. Excuse me, Charlie. When you came, Charlie, out. You get to the center, they put the head like this and
I can't hear you. Who's got their answering
Don't
machine?
forget your pills, Mom.
Yeah, so you're saying create resistance and press into it?
when you do that, you're going to feel the small muscles in your neck. Same thing on this side.
Yeah.
Just push against it gently.
Yeah, sure. That's not a bad idea. You want me to incorporate that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd like to. Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that.
It's amazing, but it's a good thing to do in the morning.
Yeah.
I got that from, the hang up where you hang upside down.
Yeah.
She's got a warm up there just for your neck muscles.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can try that a bit. I'll make a note of that.
Yeah, that's really, it just feels great.
Yeah. Well,
And
you know,
it
absolutely. You know, activating the support system the muscles create, you know, finding different ways to do that are
The
really
other
great.
thing I heard of is that, I don't know, because Walter's new too, but his diagnosis was drinking from a sippy cup. For a baby sippy cup strengthens these tendons in the side. It was really true. I bought 2 sippy cups. How did you do this? I haven't did that. You know?
I'm sorry, you should go stop.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's actually going into a little bit of speech therapy. So I have to be careful to stay in my lane a little bit. But yeah, that's a good idea that you can share with the crew.
Yeah,
Going
this
from-
is really.
Yeah.
Patrick,
Yeah.
hi, Nancy Ellis here. I missed the whole damn class. I could not get on Zoom.
Why? What happened?
I have no idea. You didn't change the passcode. It's the same.
It is the same. When you run into that, and this goes for everyone. Janet Gervasi, hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. For everybody, in fact, I do this when I start the classes early on, is I restart my device. Shutting it completely down, whether you're on an iPad, and then trying again. So if you run into that, I mean, you're in now, so you must have had the right info.
Oh, gosh. No, I missed the whole damn class.
I know, and this is the last one. I'm not doing them anymore.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
What?
No, I'm kidding.
Be
I'm
there
kidding.
Wednesday.
But you know what, though? Actually, this is going to be up on my YouTube channel. In fact, let me go look over there and stop the feed, see if there's anybody there. I've started recording some of these, so you can go look at it. Yeah, we got a couple of people there. Hey, YouTubers. Go ahead and email me in the chat there. It's got my